What I'm teaching you is you have to ask questions to lead you to a place that takes you to an answer you can stand behind. What you will not see me do is try to convince you or judge you in any way or try to sway your vote or sway your opinion towards what I believe is the right way. Because with that often comes an energy of I'm right and you're wrong and I'm here to convince you to see the light, or I'm so enlightened, I'm at a different consciousness than you are and I'm gonna tell you what to do. What you will see me do, whether you're brand new here or you've been with me for a long time, what you see me do is I work on a systemic level to guide you in being the leader of your life, to not follow what everyone with a platform says you should do, right? To really ask those better questions. Welcome to Whole Fit Talks. This is a show just for you, somebody interested in taking ownership of your health, leading your life, and living your legacy. And I'm so pumped you're here because I am another you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing this out with your friends and with your teams. Let's dive into this week's episode. Anyway, welcome in, you guys. This is our live Q&A show, okay? Streaming live on the last Wednesday of the month, typically. I know today's not the last Wednesday of October, but we're gonna be traveling next week at this time. So yes, our last Wednesday here. I'm Ange Peters, I'm the founder of Whole Fit, and I'm thrilled to have you here, whether you're tuning in live or joining in on the podcast. And we have Mr. Whole Fit here today, who we'll see how long he can stay on for because we have sleeping Logan downstairs. So we'll know when he wakes up.
There's your comments.
Oh, there they are. Okay, good. We're getting there. For all of you that are live right now, you guys, I'm gonna go through a few updates as we kick off, but for those of you that are live, if you have a question, pop it into capital letters into the thread. I'm gonna take a few live questions before I go into the submitted questions for the queue today. So updates, shall we? It's been a really busy month of programs and launches, and I just wanted to bring you up to speed on what's going on this month and then also share what's coming up in November. So I'm gonna push through to the screen here. I hope you can still hear me as I talk, but if you go, I've started a new page over on Whole Fit, which shows you what is the most, what's happening, right? Like what's up this month. And so you'll see October's up there for you. I launched a mini program called the Life Scrub. I know a lot of you joined in live when I streamed on Instagram, and it is now available in the program shop. So that is it's a very condensed version of the work that we do in the Beautiful Life Lab. So I'm taking you through 5 really impactful realms of your life, learning how to clean up your device and your calendar and your social network, and around the home, how you can create a more ease-filled experience at home, and then your health. So that was a really fun little project to put together for you, which just launched. You can find the link there. We're also in Ready, Set, Glow Week. So it is detox week around here for some of us.
That's why your skin looks so good on Facebook.
Yeah, that's why I'm like blown out on Facebook. Ready, Set, Glow Week. So this is a cleanse I run twice a year, and we're in it right now. The next run will be in April. And so you'll find the link there. If you do want to become part of it, you have lifetime access, okay? So you would be ready, you could jump in this week if you want, but we'll be running it again live in April. And then I also, 2 other quick things for October. It is a hot month to get started in doTERRA because with specific starter kit purchases, you will receive 3 free products in your box once it arrives to you. So I can also work with you to create a custom starter kit if you'd like. I have the link there on this page. And again, to access this monthly page, it's wholefit.com/monthly. Then the last thing I wanted to mention is running this week is a really special health summit that I'm honored to be a part of, along with over 30 speakers. It's free all this week. It's the Essential Oil Hormone Summit running until Friday of this week. You can watch these classes, I guess, or sessions for free all week, and then it is available for purchase after if that's what you'd like to do. So let me come back to the screen here. I'm gonna push that out. Coming up in November, just to give you a little preview. So the Beautiful Life Lab we start our lab work mid-November, so November 15th. We'll be going through the assignments to prepare for 2020. And this again is a program, one of my core coaching programs. That's hard to say. You try.
Core coaching programs.
Oh, you're an expert. It's one of my coaching
Grade 4
programs.
speech champion.
Were you?
Yeah.
No, you weren't.
On Batman.
Okay. The things you learn after 20 years still. I learned something else about you this week. I need to figure that out. What was it? Were you a spelling bee expert?
Yes.
Yes.
Still am.
Okay.
Crossword champion too.
Really?
Next.
You guys, you've got to level up. The Beautiful Life Lab is a program that takes you through designing your best life, truly, really living by design and going through a process with a community that's doing it with you. We ramp up assignments, like I said, mid-November for the upcoming year, and then we go through things quarterly to really check in and prep. This lighting thing's really bugging me. That is gonna be starting up mid-November. You'll find the link, I'll post to the monthly page on November 1st, okay? You can join that at any time, and once you're in. A few other fun things. So November 1st, holiday products launch in doTERRA land. There's some really great ones. The assortment this year is the best ever. It's gonna be great. So those launch November 1st. So if you're set up with a wholesale account, you can purchase all of those holiday products at 25% off. So that's a bit of an extra incentive to start this month, but I know many of you on here already have doTERRA accounts, so I'm sure you know that that's coming. I also just did a collaboration launch with the Dough Planner. So I wanted to show you guys real quick. These will be going out in the Whole Fit Holiday Guide mid-November. You will get that sent to you through email if you're a Whole Fit Insider. We'll put the link there for you. But this is fun. So the Dough Planner is a paper planner organizer that initially started to help people who run a doTERRA business. So they have several versions available, and I have collabed with them just to do a fun cover. Okay, so this is going to have everything you need if you like to plan by paper. What's really cool is there's actually a lifestyle version for those of you that are not building doTERRA. It's more just inspiration. It has essential oil guidance infused through it, fun recipes to try, things like that, but it doesn't have any of the business content. And then if you're building a doTERRA business, there's a slim version which looks like this. Oh, look at the lighting's way better when I do that. And then here's the regular version. Okay, so those I will have linked up. I should just stand here and hold this the whole time. Those will be linked up in November. See, I need some weight balancing. What else? And then November Q A. If you want to just pop it into your calendars, it's going to be November 27th. There won't be one in December. Okay, so if you want to join us again, hopefully we'll have this lighting situation, or maybe you won't be on live with me next time. But it is such a treat to have you here.
West Shore Surf Shop.
Oh, hey, awesome. Okay, so any live questions? Let me just check the chat. We have some really great ones you guys submitted into the queue today. I don't see any live questions in caps, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started because there were a lot of you that commented, and hopefully we get to them all. So let me go in order, okay? As I see them here, I'm gonna pop them up on the screen. First one comes from Karina. She said, I've always loved your eye makeup technique. I've researched and tried it, but it never turns out. Learning from the source is always best. How do you do it?
I got this one.
Yeah, why don't you take this one?
I'll just defer to you. Go.
Can I use you as a model?
No. I gotta pick up the kids.
Oh, yes, okay. Oh, otherwise you'd let me?
Yeah, 100%.
Note to self. Okay, so I'm gonna show you real simple. Now, I commented below Karina's post that in the Healthy Skin Shop, I want you to work on this weight balancing situation for me. See that? Way better.
Okay.
In the Healthy Skin Shop, I have a link to a lot of the products that I use. So if you want to go over there, you'll see the ones I'm talking about right now. But basically, I'm going to show you my two favorite products. So the first is a simple black eyeliner by Beauty Counter. Looks like this. It's their basic eyeliner. So what I do is, and I love Beauty Counter, by the way. I don't know if any of you are reps, but feel free to reach out to me if you are, because I'm always looking for people to support. So anywho, this liner I apply on the inside rim of my eye, okay? And then I also start, I mean, my makeup's not the best today, but I start mid-eye and I work it out just to the edge. I don't usually do like a, what do you call it? Cat eye look. But I start with the pencil, and then one of my other favorite products is by Pacifica brand. It's called eyelining gel. I grabbed these because I saw your question ahead of time. One of these days I'll get around to doing a tutorial with all the products I use, and I'll make sure that you're here for that one. Yeah. So you can be my model. But I just use a brush and you dip it in. It's a really cool gel, and then that forms kind of the liquid eyeliner look. But I did want to share with you one not so clean product. If you're looking for a really good liquid liner, like maybe you have like an event or something and you want really long wearing, because that's the only disadvantage, you guys, with natural beauty products. They just don't seem to last quite as long. This one is by Huda Beauty, okay? And you can get it at Sephora. Again, not clean whatsoever, but it works really well. And the cool thing with companies like Sephora is you're starting to see them bring out a lot of clean stuff, which is because you are all voting with your dollars, okay? So just over on Instagram, yeah, I love Pacifica product. I love all Pacifica products. Their lip glosses. I would say my top two brands would be Beauty Counter and Pacifica. And you can get Pacifica at almost any health food store. Anything to add to that?
Zero.
Onwards. Okay. Let me go back up. Okay, so Cass had a question. She said, when creating or designing a methodology, in my case, it's a movement lifestyle brand called Midline, how do I navigate the waters of imposter syndrome and to integrate all my years of learning and experimenting based on my teachers in my own body and bring it forth with my own stamp without feeling judged as a copycat? I'll take this one because I've had so much experience in this area where I'm creating things that maybe don't exist before, which essentially is what you do when you're in branding. You take something and you create something that doesn't exist in the way that only you can create it, right? So two things I want to share here. If this is your life's work, as Cass has said, this is a passion of hers. This is something she practices day in and day out without someone having to suggest that to her or motivate her in that area. And as I'm saying this, I want you all to think about what that is for you. What are those things that you do on a daily basis that you would not need reminding to do, that you are just so drawn to, you're passionate about? There's something within that you're meant to bring to the world. And so trust that. Trust your passion, trust your experience, and know that that puts you in a unique position. Because something we talk about a lot on this show, this topic comes up quite often, this feeling of being an imposter. And you have to keep in mind, like if this is who you are and this is what you live, you have to bring that forward to the world, because there are so many people today that are posturing, that can put whatever they want in their bio, they can claim whatever they want today. I mean, everybody seems to be the expert today, right? So if you're somebody who's living it already, then please bring it forth and put your stamp on it. The second part of this question, she wants to do it without feeling like she's being judged. But
you just don't care.
Well, there's that. Just don't care. Yes, absolutely. I mean, don't let someone else rob you of that.
That's the biggest thing. Is like, if you're asking yourself, is so-and-so going to care, or what are they going to think of me? Then you've already lost. Just, if that's what you feel in your heart and your gut and you want to do it, just do it. Don't worry about what so-and-so is going to think or so-and-so is going to say, because they're going to say it anyways. Either if it's about you or someone else, it doesn't matter. That's just what they have. That's in their DNA, to crap on someone or look at something and chip away at their little gig that they want to do. Yeah. So really, are you doing this for yourself, or are you doing this to make so-and-so happy on a Wednesday or a Thursday? Because on Friday, they're going to forget all about you.
Oh, totally. Like, we think people care about things we do more than they do. Like, they care very little in general, but
But they always got to get their opinion out there.
A lot of people like to, yes.
Love to let you know what they're thinking.
But you know what? I want to go even deeper than that. When we worry that people are going to judge us for doing something, the person that's doing the judging is ourselves on ourselves. Because we perceive how other people are going to or are reacting through our own lens of how we see the work. And so what I would say is I would look at what you're looking to release into the world and know you're the person to do it. And don't look around you and don't look back. Just do it. And again, anytime we feel others are judging us, it's because we are judging us. So I think you're being too hard on yourself, Cass, and you are brilliant.
The only time you need to worry about what someone thinks about you is if you're doing something that's bad, wrong, hurting someone else, hurting yourself, hurting your family. That's the only time you need to worry about it. Because, you know, at the end of it all, it's up to you. Like you have to, I always say this to you. I'm like, I got to come home to face 3 people in this house. Well, now 4 that I'm responsible for, right? And that's all that matters to me is what they think, what you think, what Emmy thinks, what Chloe thinks. That's it. Everything else, I could care less. But I know that if you surround yourself with the right people, they'll have your back.
Totally. And you know what? The people that are doing harm to others, they're not worried what people think of them.
No.
Ever. So you're looking to release goodness and magic into the world. Do it. You're going to impact so many people. Never let somebody hold you back that hasn't done what you've done. That's something I say quite a bit on this show. That's a really important thing. Care more about the people who have done what you're doing. Care about their opinions because maybe they can help.
It's like, do you want to really look back in your life and think, oh man, I didn't do this because that dude who's living in his grandmother's basement, and I know that's such an overly term, but legit, I know dudes that live in their grandmother's basement who talk crap so much and have so much opinion, and you look and you're like, wait a minute, you're sharing craft dinner with your grandmother, and you're gonna tell me what to do?
Right. Right.
You got an opinion on what I'm doing?
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
It's good to think about
That's
whose
not gonna
opinions
work.
you're allowing in. I talked about that quite a bit when we did the social realm in Life Scrub. Some of you joined in live, but that was a big part of that conversation. Yeah, it's super important. Here's one for you. I want you to take this one from Beth. She said, "Hi, Ange. I love what you share. What has been the most surprising and rewarding thing for you welcoming your new pup Logan to your family? I truly believe dogs offer us so many life lessons based on how they live and love. Would love to have you talk about the experience so far."
Okay, full disclosure, when this dog first came in our house, I freaked out. I freaked right out because all of a sudden it was like, oh my goodness, there's another mouth here. It's like retraining with a baby, and you get older and you realize like, oh yeah, things are like going along smooth, and all of a sudden this new thing that you have to keep alive is in your house, and there's peeing and there's pooing on the floor and there's, you know, barking at night and everything else. But that took about 3 days to get over, and we looked in his eyes and he was like, oh, well, he needs us, obviously. We took him away, he needs us. But so far, I mean, not so far, but going forward, like, this dog has meant everything to our family right now because our girls are in love with this dog, but not only like, just like, they're gonna pet the dog and be like, oh, he's so cute. Like, they've taken a complete active role in how this dog is being brought up, from feeding it to petting it to playing with them to bathing them, everything. And you just see like we just saw like this real super quick change in their whole attitude and their whole disposition was like, oh, we're responsible now, you know, because they've been begging and begging and begging for so long, and we kept telling them, okay, like when we get this dog, like you guys are going to be the ones in charge. And it's been such a wicked thing to see them take more responsibility in their lives and actually become like little mothers, right?
It's so true. Yes, Jenny, Logan from Wolverine. We told
That's
the girls
right.
they could pick a name from Marvel because they love the Marvel movies, as do you.
Yeah.
Hey, can you do me a quick favor and open that door because the wind's making it rock? I want to tell you guys though, like I've never considered myself an animal person, to be honest. Like what I mean by that is I never was like, oh, I need a dog so bad. I grew up with dogs. We had labs, German Shepherd, we had a husky. I just never felt that connection really growing up, to be honest. And when the girls first started asking for a dog, mostly Emmy, our youngest. This was about 3 years ago, she started asking, and so we took this as an opportunity for us as a family to really talk about responsibility and help them work their way up to that moment, right? So taking on additional chores and understanding that in order to be given more, we have these conversations with them. In order to be given more, we have to show that we're taking good care of what we currently have. And so for them a couple of years ago, it was learning to take care of themselves in the morning and knowing if we add something else, it's a layer, and we want to be ready for that, right? So this was a couple years in the making, and I have totally fallen in love with this dog. I didn't realize I had this like corner of my heart. Big time.
I've seen you just completely turn to mush.
Yes, it's true. And so he's brought so much to our life already. We love him, and yeah, he's great. I get it now. And I mean, this is a whole new world of learning for us. So learning healthy, natural ways to take care of them, which I'll open up and share more of. And
believe it or not, we've learned a lot off of YouTube.
Yes, we have. You can learn anything you need to today.
Yeah. Careful about that.
Yes. Okay, moving on. Let's go to a builder question. So we have one from AJ Harvey. She said, "Hi, Ange, I'm a very new builder. I have a small team. I'm not sure where to start. Should I set up a Facebook page or an Instagram account first? I'm concentrating on enrolling people in doTERRA, of course, but I feel I need to be able to direct my customers for education and support from me after enrolling." This is a great question, and I have a real quick answer for you. Until you personally are the rank of platinum or diamond in doTERRA, which means you have quite a solid big organization under you, I suggest you tap into what's already happening above you. I think I see a lot of people too quickly try to branch off and start their own thing, and they haven't really developed their leadership roots yet, and so it ends up becoming crickets in those spaces. And so any of you listening to this who are a doTERRA builder, you know that you have an upline of rich resources above you of people you can tap into. And if for some reason that's not available, then absolutely start it. Create what you wish existed, but check and see if it exists first before you spend time doing that, because your real work right now is in the field. Your real work it's the nuances of working with people one-on-one and doing classes and being with people and really learning what this movement is all about through your interactions with people. Don't be so quick to go off and start social media accounts and websites and hosting calls, when that's likely already happening above you. And social media, here's the deal with social media. I believe the way forward here is social media needs to be simply a reflection of what you're doing already in everyday life. It should not be a place where you're trying to perfect things. It shouldn't be a place where you're polishing the apple and it's not what's happening in real life. It should simply be a place where you're documenting what you're already doing, right? So don't feel this expectation right now to have all that in place. Let it come when you know you're truly ready for it. Okay, let me see. So, hey Bree, she said, "What programs do you use to create your content, like your ebooks, forms, graphics, etc.? I'm working on building my website, but I feel totally lost when figuring out which tools are the most effective to create beautiful looking content." So I shared with Bree a link. If you guys hop over to the Facebook page, you'll see underneath her comment, I shared a link to all of the productivity tools. I don't know if you guys know this, but I have them all listed on my website. Almost everything I use to run my business. But real simply, when it comes to ebooks, so for ebooks, I will typically build out an ebook in Google Slides, where every slide within that slide deck is a page in the ebook. Okay, and you can create a template for each slide, which might have a footer, a page number. If there's something you want to make sure is printed on each slide of the book, then you can create a template within Slides. And then all you do is once you have that ready to go, you export it as a PDF, and now you have an ebook. So I have a lot of ebooks out there. All of my programs have an ebook that goes along with them. And then what I typically do, for example, when somebody purchases a program, they receive an instant download with the ebook, but I have Facebook groups for all of my core programs, and then I have that ebook in the units of a Facebook group. So it's nice and accessible there. That, in my opinion, is the simplest way to do it, and it works really well because you can create a slide and you can type text and have it and link it up to a URL. And then when you export it as the PDF, AKA the ebook, it's clickable. The links are clickable that way. So the other thing, graphics, I use PicMonkey or Canva. If you're working from your phone, WordSwag is another one that's great on the go from your phone. So again, check out that link where I have all of those tools listed. I would go through them and just check them out. And a lot of them are free. So I think you'll find that resource really helpful. Okay, another kind of productivity question from Eileen. So it was a longer question, so I'm gonna condense it. She is saying that she has a 3-year-old daughter, and because of her super cute daughter, she has currently over 70,000 photos and 3,000 plus videos and lots of, I get it. I know you don't do that. I do. Listen, this is a messy area for me as well because I love to document things as they're happening. So she's asking, is there any smart way to digitally organize all these photos? Now, I don't totally have the answer for you here, but I want to share a few practical things that I do. So number one, I have little triggers set up. So let's say I've gone on a trip and I'm coming home from that trip and I have hundreds of great photos. What I do is I go through all those photos right after the trip ends and I favorite only one of each type of scenario. Like if I'm with my friends and we're out for dinner and we took like 15 photos, which is very likely, I'll go through all of those and I'll heart one of them. So I'm keeping just one of those moments and I delete right away. The other thing I do though is when we travel, especially if we don't have access to Wi-Fi, I will use that opportunity to go through my photos on my phone and do mass deletes where I either put things into folders or just clean up the phone, right? Like get rid of a lot of the videos that I don't need anymore and things like that. But I have 2 other suggestions for you. And if you guys have any suggestions for Eileen, please put them into the comments because I know there's probably somebody listening right now who does have a good method for this. But 2 cool things to check out. One, there is an app that you can download called Gemini. It's actually made by the same company that does Clean My Mac, which is a software program I use every week, and I share it in that productivity tools productivity tools website. So that's called Gemini. It can help you do mass cleanups of your photos. But the other cool thing I would consider is, do you really need them all on your phone, or can you create something that you could actually look at for the rest of your life? So a friend of mine does this around Christmas time. She will go through and make an actual printed album. And there's a lot of companies, I should have looked this up beforehand, but there's a lot of companies that you can use to take photos, for example, from your Instagram and put them into a book. Or you can even print canvas prints, stuff like that. I always think whenever we have too much stuff in one area, Chatbooks, thank you, Lauren, that's the company I was trying to think of. Whenever we have too much stuff in one area and we're looking to clean it up, I always take the Marie Kondo approach with it, and I think, did this already spark the joy in the moment? And is it sparking joy to keep it where it is now? Like sometimes we take pictures in the moment to really capture that memory, and that was the point of taking that picture, was in that moment to almost solidify that memory, and maybe we don't need to have it on our phone anymore, So I would look through it, and your best ones, I would print them. I would look at having an album made and do that maybe once a year. So I hope that helps. Hey, Laura, she said, love your podcasts and all the content you share. What platform do you use to Facebook live stream your Google Slides? I love how your slides are on one side and your video on the other. So again, this is a link that I have in that tools website I gave you. But what I'm using right now is a tool called Be Live. And it's a paid tool where you'll see that I schedule the Facebook Lives that I do. You can schedule them up to a week out. And then you can also screen share, which you saw at the start of this show where I showed you a slide and then it minimized me. You can show presentations this way. So this is, in my opinion, this is one of the best ways to leverage Facebook Lives if you're looking to move in a more professional direction with Facebook Lives. Now there are other tools like Zoom, which you could use, which moves everything into a private room space. And there, obviously, you can show slides or pictures or whatever and see the people that are in front of you. They also have a webinar version where you can not see the people you're talking to, but you can screen share and do all of that. So I have links for Be Live in that URL I directed you guys to there. Okay, let me keep scrolling through, and then I'm gonna go to, I see a lot of live questions coming in on Instagram especially. Okay, I'm gonna take this one from Tara. So she said, it's a longer question I wanna read out because the way she wrote it is important. So she said, my question is around vaccinations. I thought I'd put that at the top in case you decide it's not something you want to get into. I'm a little nervous to ask, however, I've tried speaking to close mom friends, my doctor, even my own mom, who I go to about everything, and it's such a taboo subject. They tend to look away in shame and shock. Since implementing natural solutions with the help of my oils, I've started questioning everything I thought to be true. I was big on vaccinating, and now I'm just not so sure. My kids haven't been vaccinated for 2 years. They no longer have issues with eczema, asthma, and bronchitis. My question is this: did you ever question vaccinations? And if so, how did you seek advice in a world that heavily believes in vaccinating our children? Okay, you ready to take this one?
Yeah.
With me, by my side? So, let me start by saying this. I don't think you need to look too hard at my life and what I teach to know that we decided to not vaccinate. So my girls are 8 and 10, and I don't talk too often about this topic, so I'm willing to go into a little more detail with you guys today. And this might be the last question we get to, depending on how long I go here. But our girls are 8 and 10. When we had Chloe, our 10-year-olds, I was exactly where you are, Tara, where I believed a certain way about health. I was raised in that way, and I didn't even think it was something to question, okay? And when she was first born, I remember right away feeling like, this doesn't feel right. I'm breastfeeding, I'm trying to do all these things right in our home. We were starting to clean things up at that point. I was buying more green cleaners. I wasn't yet using essential oils as our form of healthcare, but I was on this path of, we were eating healthy, obviously, trying to do all these right things with this newborn. And I remember feeling like, this just doesn't feel right to, at 2 months old, 4 months old, 6 months old, 12 months old, start forcing these injections of disease into their system. It just didn't, but I didn't question it enough early enough and couldn't make an informed decision right away. And so I followed the schedule, but I did delay the schedule because right away I just felt, no. This intuitively, I felt this cannot be good for their young body to take. And so I delayed the schedule, and Chloe ended up having 5 rounds of vaccinations. And through that time, you guys, is when I started to really dig in and start to educate myself. And I guess, we can't look backwards and have any regrets. And as I have this conversation with you guys, I want you to know first and foremost that I believe we always make the best decision based on what we know at the time, okay? So as I'm sharing with you right now, if you are a mother who does vaccinate or doesn't vaccinate and you look backwards and you wish you had done something different, release that. You're always doing the best with what you know. Now, I'm all about the through line, right? I've talked to you guys about what that means, and you can think of through line as that complete congruency in someone's life, that complete alignment, that it doesn't matter where you look in someone's life, you see that same message, right? This is how you spot a leader as well. A true leader is somebody that where you look in their life, and I'm not talking about them being perfect. I'm talking about that through line of what they teach is in every area that you look at in their life. Now, as a leader with a platform, there are many things you may think I have a responsibility to be a voice for. And years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I would have agreed with you. I would have agreed with you that I need to be the voice for everything that I believe in, and I need to give my energy to this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing because I have an audience. It wasn't until I matured in my leadership that I could truly understand the work that I'm here to do. That my best work is in working on a systemic level. There's a question whether you were on board with this in the beginning, so I want to.
Yeah, go back to it.
I'll come back to that in a moment. What you will not see me do is try to convince you or judge you in any way or try to sway your vote or sway your opinion towards what I believe is the right way. Okay, this is why I don't talk politics or religion or vaccinations very much on this platform or at all, because with that often comes an energy of I'm right and you're wrong and I'm here to convince you to see the light, or I'm so enlightened, I'm at a different consciousness than you are and I'm gonna tell you what to do. What you will see me do, whether you're brand new here or you've been with me for a long time, what you see me do is I work on a systemic level to guide you in being the leader of your life, to not follow what everyone with a platform says you should do, right? To really ask those better questions that take you to a place where you can make decisions like this, a heavy decision for yourself and your family. So I do this systemic work through how I share on social media to perhaps have you asking the questions that will lead you to the right answer for yourself. I do this through my programs. So I lead you in this realm in an obvious way through programs like my Beautiful Life Lab, right? Or Life Scrub, where we're really stepping into a position of authority in our own life. That's what that program's really about. And sometimes I disguise leadership development through health initiatives like my Ready, Set, Glow program. As much as it is focused on the health front, what's really happening in that, the core of that, is self-leadership. You're learning to trust yourself without a nutritionist writing out a food plan for you, okay? That's why I stepped away from a lot of that work. That's a topic for another day. But what I would invite you, if you're listening to this and you're trying to make these tough decisions for yourself like Tara is, I'd invite you to begin by asking questions, right? This is where I started 10 years ago. So when it came to the vaccine debate, I started to poke holes in it. No pun, or actually yes, pun intended. With vaccines, I started to ask, okay, you gotta go? Is he barking?
No, it's school.
Oh, it's school pickup time, okay. With vaccines, I started to ask questions like, why are they free for the most part? Why are they not only free, but why at every block along the road, especially in the US, you'll notice this, why at every single pharmacy, every single plaza you go into, it seems, there's a sign to come in for free vaccines. And not only that, why do you go home with a dozen free donuts for doing so? This is when alarm bells started to go off for me when I looked at the whole approach. And again, you guys, I'm gonna say this a few times here. What I'm teaching you is you have to ask questions to lead you to a place that takes you to an answer you can stand behind. What I'm sharing with you and the reason that we don't, and I'm not necessarily sharing the reason that we don't, I'm sharing how we came to this place, okay? I'm not looking for your judgment because I don't judge you if you do. But ask the questions that lead you to the decision that you can make confidently. I started to ask, why does this seem to be the only area that the government is highly concerned with our health status, is highly invested in our health status? Why are kids so sick today? Why are there more allergies than ever before? You start to look at the patterns taking place. This schedule is being enforced at a high and rapid rate, and yet our kids are getting sicker. Our kids have more allergies than ever before. The big one for me that I started to ask was, why are we applying a one-size-fits-all approach with this vaccine cocktail? If you have a family who's making all of these efforts around clean water and more whole foods and having a more peaceful home and supporting the immune system in a stronger way, why should the same approach be applied to them as to every other child, right? Why isn't the theory of herd immunity holding up? This is the big one that, this is the big resistance you'll face when, if and when you decide to not vaccinate. Well, what about herd immunity? That theory is not actually holding up, okay? What we're actually seeing is that the people that aren't, their immune systems are becoming even stronger. And the interesting thing I always think of with the herd immunity debate, because again, how you do one thing needs to be how you do everything. This is just where my mind always goes. And so whenever somebody says, well, herd immunity, don't you care about herd immunity? And somebody is claiming that they vaccinate their kids to protect the herd. I highly doubt that any mother would truly be willing to give her child up for the good of everyone else, to be that canary in the coal mine. I don't think that that's happening in any other way in that life, and yet they're saying that that's part of the reason they've done it, that they're, in a way, they're sacrificing their child to help other people. I just don't think, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't think that many mothers would be willing to do that. The other question would be, can my doctor explain that insert that comes with the vaccines? This is a big one, because for many people that are vaccinating, there's a perception of a godlike quality when they think about their doctor. And so they need to really run that doctor through that test. Is everything that they're preaching that you should do, can they really explain to you what's going on with that injection? This is probably the real unsettling question a lot of you will face when you go to your doctor. You'll realize they either have no idea what's on that insert, or B, they're simply giving you a response that they were fed by the pharmaceutical rep that came in with the new vaccine, or whoever. So these kinds of questions lead you to this kind of feeling of angst, right? Now, you go through those questions, they lead you to another series of questions. What does a strong immune system really need? That's a big question. What would it look like to actually create a strong immune system for yourself? What could you remove from your life to strengthen your body naturally? Could you remove toxic exposure in your home? Could you remove a lot of the fragrance and chemicals, the harmful chemicals? Could you remove fake food? Could you create a more peaceful environment in your home, not a home of stress? Does stress impact your immune system? You start to ask these questions. What can you do before you do that? Right? I worked on creating a world, you guys, for myself and for our family where I didn't have to fear anymore. I think this is the big one. And I not only did that, but I created access to this world for anyone. This is the work that I do in essential oils. On the surface, it may look like essential oils are what I sell, but that's not what I sell. What I'm actually here in your life to guide you in is moving to this place where you make decisions from an empowered place and not a decision that's based on fear. And when you come to this place, you won't be affected by the fear-rooted judgment of other people. Even though I don't talk about vaccines all that much, I know it doesn't surprise you what I'm saying here, right? Even though I don't talk about vaccines all that much, every week I receive what was intended to be a hurtful DM from somebody. I'm talking local doctors, local nurses, trying to get into a debate with me over it. And because what they meet in me is a calm confidence about the choices we've made, their fear is no match for that. They're not ready for that type of loving response that they get, right? They look to keep coming at it from a fear angle. And so we're all making these decisions based on what we can live with. That really is the metric, right? if you hang around here long enough, you guys, I'll have you asking different questions that lead you to this place where you can make a more informed decision. But not only that, I am most committed to having my life speak for me. I am most committed to showing what's possible when you are somebody who takes ownership of this and asks the questions that take you to a place of empowered decision making. I will be an example of what's possible to you so that hopefully you are inspired to show up in your life in this way if that's what you feel is the right move forward. But I want to remind you guys, I absolutely believe that everyone, especially mothers, are making the best decisions with what they know at the time. I tighten up and I cringe when I see the shame-filled posts out there today of judging for the decisions that they've made. Because and again, when you see those things happening, that again is a post that's rooted in fear. There's a way for you to share with others what you do and what you believe in without judging other people at the same time for what they're doing if it's different from you, right? So all of that to say, because I know this is the next question, these questions led me to do a lot of research years and years and years ago. And I have compiled a library of this research. If you are like Tara, if you're like me, where I was 10 years ago, starting to ask these questions, I'm happy to share my research with you. If you want to email my assistant Jill at teamholfit@gmail.com, we'll give you the link to my document of research. I do not want this shared publicly. This is for you if you're a mother who's truly seeking a more rounded understanding of what's going on, because if you don't look deep enough, you're only ever going to get one version of the story. So, long answer. One of the questions you guys had over on Instagram, and then I'm going to scroll through. This lighting is horrible on Facebook, so let's keep it to Instagram here. No, that's not a filter of a white bolt of light. That is the sun beaming through. One of you asked about Chris and was he on board with it? To be honest, he wasn't. And again, this was me doing a lot of this research and him eventually having to come to a point where I've taught him over time to know that I don't make decisions lightly. I trust what decision comes to me when I've done everything I can do to come to that place of truth. And so there was that going for me in my favor. He knows that about me. But he grew up with one form of understanding, right? That doctors are the last word. And so to do something that was not the mainstream, he had his concerns, right? And we had family weighing in, of course, right? So ultimately, I had to come to this decision first, and then I had to help him understand why. And it's led to a great place, okay? I think everything that we have in our life today came because of the types of questions that were asked. And you stay on this journey, and it led here. And again, so much of the work I do today is working on that systemic level to create the kind of change that pulls the plug out of the machine. This is why I'm not willing or interested to be a voice for every single thing that I could use my platform for. It's because I'm very clear on the way that I'm here to affect that change. And you know, I think everyone has to go through their own phases of this as they mature as a leader. Because we live in such a noisy, loud time, and because anybody can say anything, and everyone feels very entitled to not only their opinion, but to tell the whole world about it. I think you really, as a person, you have to ask these questions for yourself and work on cultivating that relationship with yourself, where you trust yourself, where you understand that anything you've ever outsourced in the past, that person They didn't know either. That nutritionist that's writing the food plan for you, they don't know what it's like to live in your body and feel the way you feel. They're doing the best with what they know. Your doctor who's suggesting this vaccination schedule, he didn't birth your child into the world and hasn't been up till 3 a.m, night after night after night, listening to your prayers. Nobody, not me, not your doctor, nobody can give you the answer. It is essential that you ask the questions that take you to the place where you can make the answer for yourself in a confident way. And the reality is, we never truly know if it's the right answer. All we can do is our best, and we can try. We can make decisions based on what we believe is the right way forward, and then we learn as we go. And what I have learned is that I made a good decision. I learned that, and my kids continue to show that. You guys, parents, mothers, our kids are our greatest teachers. Your child will talk to you, even if they can't even talk yet. They will guide you. And it's scary territory to work against your intuition. That will always lead to a place of unsettledness. And so Tara and whoever else is on here right now who is struggling with making a big decision, okay, just to keep asking more questions. Poke holes in it. Yes, ask people that are in your life that you have a feeling have been here before. And again, like I've shared, I'm a mother, just like many of you, and I spent many late nights in angst, researching this specific topic, asking a lot of people, a lot of questions, until I could come to a place of understanding, oh, okay, this is what's going on. And sometimes the more you ask, the more you don't want to know. But it might lead you to this beautiful place where you're able to walk out something in a way that allows you to teach others down the road, okay? So guys, my confidence today in making decisions as a woman, as a mother, as a CEO comes because I've been in it. I've been in the trenches with it, and I don't make any decision lightly when it comes to our health. Everything I teach about health and well-being and self-care comes from a place of true practice. And you will never see me teach about something that I haven't lived or will not be the face for, okay? I'm impressed with your dialogue around this, you guys. I'm paying attention to your comments as they're coming in, because I don't have the answer for you, okay? What I'm sharing with you is, yes, what we've done, and I'm quite positive that that doesn't surprise any of you here. But again, if anyone is trying to make you feel like they have the decision for you, they don't have the decision. It's coming from a place of fear in themselves. And so when you see people showing up and sharing in a way that almost creates this feeling of shame for you, that's only happening because that person is still really struggling with their own decision. If somebody's coming from a place of confidence and love and is willing to share with you what they've done and why, but no judgment. Every one of us, and honestly, vaccinations are one of those topics that are so polarizing. It is so charged because here's why. Most of the time, it's a mother making that decision. And deep down, every mother is doing the best she possibly can for her children. I am positive that any one of us mothers would give our life for our children. Think of that kind of love. And so when someone else is showing up telling us we're making bad decisions for our children, don't accept that. But if through how somebody is showing up and sharing about certain topics like vaccines causes you to have some curiosity and wonder if there's something here to look at, then follow that, because that may take you to a place of making new decisions. But don't look in your past and think that you screwed something up, because again, you make the best decision you can with what you have access to. Okay? All right. I'll probably lose Instagram shortly. Let's go until I lose Instagram, which will be probably in a few minutes here. So let me just scroll up here. The dog is now barking, which probably doesn't make for good podcast recording, but thank you guys. I'm really impressed by your comments. I know, I mean, I shouldn't say I'm impressed. I know within this community we have high level thinking happening. Chantel said, beautifully said, as a pharmacist, we learn little about vaccinations as a whole. Do your research, trust your gut, and don't be feared into anything that doesn't feel right. I love that, Chantel. It's so true. Yeah, the email, you guys, Lauren wrote it in correctly, teamholfit@gmail.com. Okay, let me see. Sheena said, what is it that you lovingly, I think we're missing a word here, do to the doctors who want to get in a debate with you? I mean, again, I think we enter debates when we're not quite sure of our answer. So I've never been in that situation. I mean, with, I think you're referring to the DMs. So typically when somebody hits my DMs with something hurtful, they're not looking for a debate. They're just looking to tear down, right? They're looking to, like, for example, last year I shared there was a doTERRA BOGO sale going on. And it was tea tree oil and oregano, I think. And I shared that day's BOGO. I shared some ways to use it that were very clean and compliant. This local nurse writes me saying, so will this protect me from the measles? And I knew what she was looking to get into, and I said, no, it won't. I would never make that claim. And this created a whole, like, she just bombarded me with messages that ultimately led to this comment where she said, I hope you and your children never need a hospital. And suggesting that it might not be available to you if you ever did. Like, you're not welcome. And I mean, honestly, this just went back and forth, and I was very accommodating of her belief, but that was upsetting her even more because she was being confronted by a calm confidence in the decision that I've made. And, you know, I realized through experiences like that I'm not here to sway decisions in any way. I am, again, the work that I do, and I'm very deep in the work of helping people lead their life, because through that, I'm pulling the plug out of that machine. Rather than, I mean, debates don't interest me at all. Not at all. Okay, I probably have time for one more. Let me just scroll here. May I ask your thought on vaccinating as an adult to travel to underdeveloped countries? I have no experience with that, so I can't answer that for you. But what I would be looking into is who I know in my health circles who has traveled to underdeveloped countries and what they did. Likely, if you're in, for example, health communities, you'll know somebody who's done a lot of research there. And if I ever do, then I will open up and share with you. But yeah, I mean, again, you're always wanting to look at it as, how can I support my immune system in being stronger rather than forcing it into a situation where it has to react. So that's the goal. All right, you guys, we're gonna lose it here in a moment. So I just wanted to remind you that this episode will be uploaded to the podcast, episode 60. The next live Q&A will be Wednesday, November 27th. And if you have questions, you can go to holfit.com/podcast and post your question there, or look for the live stream. Hey, thanks for tuning in to today's show. If you liked the content, please consider hopping over to iTunes and leaving a review so that more people can find this show. If you have a question or a topic suggestion for future shows, head over to holfit.com/pod question. You can also find all past episodes and show notes at holfit.com/podcast. See you next time.